Okay. I'm live and I'm by myself. Go figure. Okay, get rid of that. I'm going to put this like this. For fuck's sakes. Nope. It ain't working for me. How about that? Okay. And is it live or is it Memorex? Oh, cool. What's this story? Hello. 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 Report. Okay. What is this? I don't know what that is. Okay. Have I got anybody? I got somebody. I don't know who. Dave Weber. Hello, Dave. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That's my question. Because I'm on my phone. I want to know if my microphone is on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Send some hearts. Like, thunk, thunk. There. Send some hearts if you can hear me. Okay, that could be a problem. That could be an issue. I gotta turn this. This isn't working for me. Oh god damn. My little phone thingy broke on me. Just now I was like hooked. Okay, now I have been like, oh wow. Okay. Oh, that's the hell is that? That's the end of that. Da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I have to go. There we go. Let me see. Open recent. There we go. That's the one we're looking for. Haha. I wish I knew where I was. Okay. What chapter? Oh, wait, I have it written down because I'm sorry I'm late. I'm just disorganized because well, I had breakfast with my brother and okay, let me see. What's the date? The 7th, chapter 19. Good thing I wrote it down because I tell you, I'm totally fucked. Did I say that out loud? Okay. So I was discussing stuff with my brother, and the waitress is hilarious because she keeps asking when I'm bringing the phone in. I think she wants to be on it. Okay, that happens. Um, I still don't know if you can hear me though. Can you hear me? Is my microphone on? That's my question. Let me see. Hang on. Let me see. I got this little button here. No, that's okay. We're on. I can see that now. There. That's much better. Chapter. What did I say? 19. Okay. And I get to read to one person, Dave, and you are the one person. I love reading to one person. 12. Do. I don't even know if I told anybody I was coming on here. 15. Yeah, so I was out for breakfast with my brother, and we were discussing the wonderful game yesterday because we're Canadians, and we had a real issue with Trump butting his fucking nose into the soccer. We didn't like that at all because, like, it should not be politicized, but it was. So there you go. That's the end of that. But we were happy that everything was vindicated because had America won, oh my God, what do you think would have happened with that? Not good because the whole world would have it would have been tainted. It would have been a win with an asterisk, kind of like what's his name, Barry Maguire. Was it Barry Maguire? Yeah, Barry Bonds. Either one, Maguire and Bonds, when they won with the home runs and all that stuff with an asterisk. Okay, let me see. I'm just still looking for stuff. I don't need that. I was just save whatever that was. I was looking for. Oh, this thing is totally screwy. Oh, I just lost it. There we go. Don't do that. I'll make that big. There we go. What I'm looking for is my. Oh, I don't have the internet. I don't have my thingy hooked up. That's why. Safari. There we go. It's like I've been having issues with my computer, and I have to kind of figure it out, which isn't good. Just checking up to see where I am and all of that stuff. I can see if I can do a live video on here. Go live and see what happens on this one. I'm going to do it both. I'm going to do it on here and on here just to see what happens. Because this one chokes up on me. That's we'll see what happens. I'm live now on both. Wait, there. Now I'm on live. Now we'll see what happens with this one and that one. You can see me at two angles. Which one works? My live chat. Live chat will appear here. There we go. And we're on. We're on. It's we'll see what happens. And I guess I should start reading this to you because that's why I'm here. Chapter 19 and 20. And after let me see. Let me just check and see how far this is to the end. Let me see. What is that? I'm trying to find it, but I have a hard time because I'm at a loss here. Oh, there we go. 30 chapters. So that's July 28th. And that'll be August, whatever. Then, so 2 more reads after that into the middle of August. Let me see. I'm checking my calendar. July 28th. Where is that? Oh, there we go. It's a Tuesday. I forgot what day it is. So that would be the 4th. The 11th. I'm thinking the 11th will be my last reading of this. And then I will be doing live breakfast with my brother on at the restaurant. I have to actually bring this in there to see if it works. Not my computer, my phone, to see if it works from there. Because that would be interesting. It'll be fun. Because my brother is, well, he's not fun. He's not funny. I mean, he's serious. He's serious. I'm not serious. I'm so different from him. But that's what you want, isn't it? Okay, let me see. I have my microphone here. I'll just put it over here so that way it you can even see it. Cool. I don't know which angle you have, this one or that one. But we're going to start reading to you. Dave, don't leave because you're the only one, okay? Okay, chapter 19. I could feel the wind and grit hitting me, surrounding me, and stinging my skin before we finally managed to pull the cover off. My muscles were screaming in protest with the effort. When it finally broke free, Jen scrambled in without hesitating. I followed her, pulling the Tusker bundle down and plugging the hole behind me. We were standing on narrow metal steps like the rungs of a ladder, and I could hear the wind whistling above us. I grabbed the 2 loops of rope I'd made for the bundle, pulling down with all my weight. I wasn't trying to pull the bundle through the opening, but to pull it down enough so that it'd block the sand from filtering through the hole and filling the opening we were standing in. The tunnel beyond had caved in on itself. The wind was whistling around the Tusker bundle. It didn't take long before the small leaks and crevices filled up with sand, but I was able to hold my hand against them until the sand stopped flowing. I hoped it didn't mean that we were being buried under the sand, but I'd rather that than having the hole we were standing in fill up with sand. Under normal circumstances, I would have been counting my heartbeats. That's the easiest way to track time, for lack of a better phrase. I suppose her asking me about time and how we count the seasons or measure the days got me to thinking about it. Whatever the reason, it didn't matter. I could hear the wind whistling above us. I could feel it pushing against the pack. In time, it died down, and I was able to push the Tusker bundle up and out of the hole. The sand seeped in and sifted down around us. I pushed up, and with the bundle above me, I was able to use it to clear the way. I climbed out and reached down for her hand, pulling her up onto the lip of sand surrounding the hole. I looked up at the sky. It was clear, and I could see stars poking out of a darkening night sky. "Is it done, or is this a break?" she asked. "What do you mean, a break? They never used to have these kind of storms in the past." "What did they have?" "Wind. Big, twisting cylinders that ripped up everything in their path. And rain, lots of rain, flash floods from overflowing rivers and storm surges along the coast. Lots of damage. If this was anything like those were, then the slave army we're following will have taken a big hit. A lot of them will have died. Those carts will have been scattered. We'll have to move through the night. We'll stay on the trail and try and avoid the trees." "I don't think going either way will be easy," she said. "We'll follow the stars," I said, looking up at the clear sky. "Whatever you think is best." "I don't think I'm in any position to argue," she smiled. It wasn't easy making our way along the trail. There was a lot of debris scattered along the path, and we were careful as we climbed over it. The shadows created pockets and pools of inky darkness. Some of the debris consisted of old rusted hulks, old cars, and metal roofs that had been picked up and scattered along the countryside, piling up in large heaps of twisted metal, the flashy chrome pieces winking at us under the light of a glowing full moon. The higher the moon climbed, the more light it gave, and it was easier to see which way we had to go. We came across the first victims of the slavery army some time later. It was one of the carts they used for transporting their prisoners. It wasn't a cart, Jen explained to me, but an old-fashioned trailer they had used for transporting dry goods across the country. They were long, almost 40, 50 paces in length, with sturdy metal walls. The whole thing had been turned over and looked like it may have tumbled across the landscape for quite a distance. There were huge holes and divots in the ground where it had hit. It would have been the end of the long line of transports, I told myself. One of the long metal walls had been ripped open and torn away, the inside exposed. The huge metal rims and wooden fittings inside them used as wheels had all but been destroyed when the storm hit. "That wasn't sand," she said, looking at the damage. "The wind comes across the land and picks up whatever's laying loose on the ground. Rocks, pebbles, dirt, sand, rusty shards. It peels off the dead automobiles, all of it. If you get caught outside, you're as good as dead. The winds will peel the flesh right off your bones. You're okay for the first little bit, but once the main force hits you, well, aside from lifting you right off your feet, it'll tear you to pieces." "Do you think anyone inside would have survived?" she asked. I shook my head. "I doubt it. You don't want to look around. If anyone's alive, they'll call out if they can hear us. And if they can't, they'll probably wish they were dead. I told you the force of it will peel the skin right off you." I looked at the empty trail ahead of us. There were pieces of machinery buried in the sand and grit. Some of the trucks were buried up to their doors. Those people trapped inside stained against the walls by the force of the wind and debris as it smashed through the windows. How could anyone survive something like this, she said, looking at the desolation. Someone always survives, I said, and then I thought about the predators that'd soon be making their way out of whatever hiding places they'd found. It was the wild dogs that worried me the most. They roamed about in packs that sometimes darkened the hills in numbers too many to count. The stench of death would bring them soon enough. We have to keep moving, I said. We have to search for survivors, she said. There are none. How can you say that? We haven't even looked. And what do you think you'll find if there are any? I asked. We can't take them with us, or did you think we'd sit with them and nurse them back to health? This place will be alive with all sorts of scavengers looking for survivors. Believe me, if anyone survived, you're not going to find them. They'll know to get away from here as fast as they can. Don't you think the slavers will be coming back to round them up as well? Or did you forget about them? How do you expect to find one person in all of this? Two, I said. She's with her father. You mean Bobby's father? Hers. It's her father. I don't care about this person you say lives inside my head. I care as much for him as I do for the person you say is in Jaylene's head. I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for her. And I'm looking for her for my own reasons. You have more than one? What? The question caught me off guard. You say you're looking for her for your own reasons, plural. When most people say something like that, it's singular. Or are you going through the motions and pretending? Why would you question me about something like that? Have you never been with someone and wanted nothing else other than to be with that person? No, I haven't, she said. There was a tone of finality in her voice. I could see a small cloud of dust and a blaze of lights coming toward us in the distance. The sun was hanging low over the horizon, and there were stars beginning to wend their way through the twilight. We saw the lights at the same time, and she turned to look at me. I nodded and slowly dropped the Tusker bundle. What are you doing? She said. We can't outrun them. They don't know we're here, so they won't expect to find us here. I don't plan to let them, I added. I picked up a long piece of sheet metal I could use as a scoop and quickly used it to bury the hide as much as I could. Get under it, I said, watching the lights as they bounced across the plain. They were still quite a distance away. What are you going to do? Aren't you going to hide with me? She asked. I'll find someplace else. I don't want them to find you. So I'll hide somewhere where I can keep an eye on them. This way, they won't see the hide at all. If I climb under it, the sand will shift and they might see the hide. And what if they find you? They won't, I said. I promise. I dragged a large piece of sheeting from one of the carts and dropped it on top of the hide, burying it and shoveling the sand around it so that it looked natural. I tossed the sheet metal to the side, picked up my longbow, quiver, and sword, then climbed onto one of the giant trucks, crawling through the front window and inside the cab. I looked at the broken body inside. The flesh had been ripped away by the force of the storm, the face nothing now but an ugly mask of exposed bone. I crawled past it as low as I could, pushing the corpse's feet out of the way to make room for myself. It didn't take long before I heard the machine. It spewed a cloud of black smoke out of the two pipes rising up above it, two dark stains against the darkening sky. There was a tiny window near the bottom of the door of the truck I was in, and I pressed my face up against it, watching as they approached. There were 4 men inside the machine, and they stepped out, each of them with rags wrapped around their faces to protect themselves from the dust swirling around them. I slowly drew my sword from its scabbard, pushing the dead man's feet aside so I'd have room to lunge if I had to. I watched the small mound where the tusker hide was hidden. I was wondering why they'd come out this far. I didn't think they were looking for survivors. The chances of that were slight. I told myself they had to have come out for a different reason, before realizing they were coming towards the truck I was in. I looked at the body in the truck. It was obvious the driver of the truck had to be one of the slavers, and I wondered what he had that the others wanted. I looked around the inside of the cab and then saw it. There was a tiny green light flashing near the big wheel inside. I could see numbers on it, I didn't know what it was, but something told me that that's what they were looking for. One of the men reached into the machine they'd been driving, and suddenly I could hear a loud screech of noise. I jumped at the suddenness of the noise and then looked out of the tiny window again. One of the men was coming toward the truck. If he kept walking in the same direction, he'd trip over the tusker hide. It was too late for me to do anything. I straightened myself out as much as I could, reaching for my longbow. Another one of the men followed, carrying a tool of some sort, while the third man did whatever it was he'd done before, so that the noise screeched out again. The first man pointed at the truck I was hiding in. He took 3 more steps and tripped over Jen. I could hear her scream out. All of the men ran to where they'd heard the noise, and I quickly rose up out of my tight hiding place, pulling the longbow up with me and notching an arrow. I pulled 3 more out of my quiver and drove them into the soft seat under me. The first man found the edge of the tusker hide and began pulling at it. The other 3 men were laughing, probably excited at the idea of having a little sport to help them kill the monotony of their boring day. The second man helped to pull the hide back, and they all stood, looking down at Jen curled up and trying to crawl away. The first man reached down, grabbing a fistful of her short hair as he began pulling her to her feet. The second man grabbed her by the arm and dragged her forward, throwing her to the ground as the third man kneeled down, ripping the fur jacket off her and tossing it to the side. I took a slow, deep breath, pulling the longbow back as far as I could before releasing the arrow. It struck the first man in the throat because he bent down as I let the arrow fly. It passed through him and lodged into the second man through his ribs, under his left arm. He screamed as the other man gurgled on the blood foaming out of the hole where his throat once was. Before the third man could react, my second arrow passed through his torso, lodging into the vehicle behind him. The fourth man was 10 paces away by the time my third arrow caught him in the square of the back, and he fell to the ground, writhing. I climbed down from the truck and began gathering my arrows while Jen, on the ground, sobbing and splattered with blood, looked up at me. She had her arms wrapped around herself. I picked up the jacket, tossing it to her. "Do you know what that thing is?" I asked, turning my head and looking at the machine as she hastily pulled the jacket on. "You might be able to change your wardrobe," I went on. "There's sure to be something they left behind." "I doubt I want to wear anything of theirs," she said, getting to her feet. She was wiping her tears, smearing the blood that was on her face. "How about food? You're not going to say you won't eat any food they might have in there, are you?" "What kind of food?" "Probably in cans, if we're lucky," I said, putting the arrow back into my quiver after wiping them clean. I began walking to the machine. "What is this thing?" I asked. She walked around it, looking at it carefully. "It used to be a car." "A car? You mean like those things in the tunnel and on the trail?" "It doesn't look like any of those." And it didn't. It had wooden tires, each carved with wide, deep grooves that dug into the dirt. The windows were dark, and there was a metal cage behind the window. There was no steering wheel inside that I could see. There were levers coming up out of the floor instead. There was a large video screen inside as well. There was what looked to be a large weapon of some sort built on the roof of the machine. A large spear stuck out of it with a length of coiled rope lying on the floor. 4 steps led up to the weapon and a seat for the operator to sit on. That's because they've added to it. I don't know what they use for fuel, and they obviously don't have rubber for tires, so they made their own. Tires? You can't steer this thing like you can, say, that big rig you were in over there, she said, pointing at the truck. That has a steering wheel. This is different, she added, looking inside. See? Those 2 levers, you move them back and forth to go forward or to back up. You push one and pull the other, and the whole thing goes either left or right. It's quite simple. And you know how to do that? Back in the other life I used to live, she said, we lived on what they call a farm. It had a machine like this, only it was smaller. It worked the same way. I used to drive it all the time. They were looking for something. Survivors, she said. No, something else. There was a loud voice calling out, and I jumped back at the suddenness of it. She laughed. I looked inside and saw the same green light that was on the small box inside the truck cab. What is it? It's a way they can talk to each other over long distances. So where's it coming from? She pointed south. That's where they were coming from. I'd say get in this thing and drive out there if you want to know. Okay. Chapter 20. Are you still with me, Dave? Cool. Buckle up, she said. It looks like it might be a rough ride. Buckle up, I said, and watched as she pulled the belt beside her across her body, clipping it into a small catch. She reached across, pulling on the belt beside me, showing me how to use it and telling me to try it 3 more times on my own. She nodded, satisfied, and then reached down and turned the key. She looked around the interior, trying to sort things out, I imagine, before grabbing the handles and pushing them forward. I could feel the machine lurching forward. She pulled the 2 handles back towards her, and then moved the left one, and we turned right. She moved the other one, and we turned left. She nodded to herself, then looked at me and smiled. I got this, she said. You got this? What does that mean? The machine shot forward. I looked down and saw her pressing her foot down on one of the 2 pedals on the floor of the machine. I looked out of the windows and saw a big cloud of dust behind us. There was a handle on the door, and I reached for it. She looked at me, but said nothing. I wound the handle, and the window went down. I stuck my head outside, looking at the track spitting up dust and grit behind us, as well as up at me. I rolled the window back up and settled into the seat. It didn't take long before we left the dirt and grit track, following the tracks of the machine back across smooth, rolling hills of green grass. The grass had been beaten down and churned up by the machine on its way out to the trail, and I looked at the rapidly disappearing forest behind us. We descended a long, sloping hill, and I looked out across the countryside. The sky was clear, but I could see heavy clouds to the left of us locked into a stunning sunset. There were wild things grazing in the distance. At the distance we were at, it was impossible to see what they were, but judging from the shape of their bodies silhouetted in the coming sunset, I thought they might be bisons. The small box hanging under the front of the machine made a noise again, and she slowed down, listening. Sevy, what are you guys doing out there? The voice in the box asked. Is that us? She asked. I'm thinking it's the guys we left back there, I said. Very funny. Do you think I couldn't figure that out on my own? She said. I mean, what do you want to do about it? I don't care. You will when they start sending drones out looking for this thing. Why would they do that? These things have stuff in them that makes it possible to track them. If the slavers are smart enough to run these things without regular fuel, what's that? These things don't run on wishes, she said. Back before the world fell apart, they had machines that went up into space. They had machines on them that could track machines like this. It was an age of machines. It was a global system. You could track anything on the planet anywhere. And you think they can find us? If they still have satellites up there, yeah, she said. What do you mean, if? Why would they still be up there? Sometimes they fall out of orbit. Fall, as in falling here? Usually they land in the oceans. Look out, I screamed. And she turned the machine hard to the right, spitting soft turf and grass, as well as a large cloud of dust that floated in the headlights. I could see the wheels digging in hard, the machine feeling like it was going to tip and roll down the hill we were on. He was standing in front of us, the guy from the future, or the past, or wherever he was from. Jimmy, the brother of the guy who was supposed to be trapped inside my head. He was caught in the headlights, a slender figure, surrounded by an aura of dust that seemed to envelop him. He was the reason for everything as far as I was concerned. He was bad news, my bad luck, my bad karma, as Zard used to say, and for a moment, I didn't think it would have been such a big loss if we'd actually hit him. But then I sat back and caught my breath again, looking over at Jen. Her chin was resting on her chest. Her hands were still shaking. She looked through the cage of the windshield at the man who was coming toward us, looking excited. She was having none of it. She pushed the door open and all but ran at the man, pushing him down. "What the fuck are you trying to do to me?" she screamed at him. She tried to kick him, but he walked backwards as fast as he could, narrowly avoiding her foot as she swung it out at him a second time. "Whoa, settle down," he called at her. "I figured it out." "You figured what out?" she said, walking back to the machine and slamming the still open door shut. I jumped at the suddenness of the noise. I opened my door and stepped out, looking at the surrounding landscape. It was almost dark. The only thing I could see was the outline of the rolling hills caught in the headlights. There were bugs buzzing in the lights, dancing on endless thermals. The wind, now a gentle breeze, was rippling the taller grass in the distance, and I could see where it flowed across the plains before fading to black. "Him," he said, nodding at me. "I wish I could say it's nice to see you again, too," I said, not even bothering to turn around to look at him. "Look," Jimmy said, getting to his feet and brushing himself off. "From what I can see, I haven't been gone too long." "Not too long," Jen said. "That's an understatement." I think the only word to describe her tone would be incredulous. I can't think of another word to describe it, but as it had only been a few days, I found myself having to agree with him. The more thing, one more thing to put me into a sour mood. The fact that he said he'd figured it out should have made her happy, or so I thought, because, like I said, in reality, it had only been a few days. "However long you may think it is, I've been gone a lot longer than you might think I have," he said. "I'm now what they call a traveler." "Are you now?" she said. I don't know if she was trying to sound sarcastic, but it came out that way. "I'm sorry, okay?" he said after a moment. "I'm sorry for all of it, for everything that's happened, but more than that, for everything that's about to happen. Why, what do you know that we don't?" "I know everything that happens." "So, what's going to happen?" I said, turning around to look at him. "I don't want to tell you, because I don't want to hear either one of you changing things up on me," he said. "You have to understand that time's like water, not the usual flat petri dish kind of water where you drop a drop in it and watch it ripple. Time's more like a stream. It's always moving. You have to think of the water as always breaking over the rocks, though, and because of that, no two splashes are ever alike. It's like what time's like, except for one constant. And what's that? If you enter a timeline with a friend and that friend dies, that person will die in the next timeline you meet him in. Like Jor-El. If we see him in the next timeline, it'll be to see him die." "Okay," she said. She seemed to have gotten control of herself again. She brushed her hair, running her fingers through it, and then pulling the jacket tight before leaning against the machine, crossing her arms and looking at him. "Okay, I think I can accept that. You wouldn't have come here at this time or this place if it didn't mean something, right? So there's something about being here that matters now, right? Well, of course, this is the point where everything comes to a head." "What's that supposed to mean?" I said. They both looked at me. "I've got as much riding on this thing as you two. Oh, as you two, don't I? Maybe even more. After all, you're the ones that say the guy's inside my head. So, what's that mean as far as I'm concerned? Because I can tell you right now, I don't like the sound of where this is going." "You'll be fine," Jimmy said to me. "That's reassuring," I said, "but what exactly does that mean?" "This guy's inside my head, his mind, or whatever you want to call it. How is him being in there not going to affect me? How is it fine? You pull him out of there, am I still going to be here? And I don't want to hear you saying I'll be fine and dismissing me like a child. I need to know the truth." "Well, you have to accept that what we tell you, don't you? You have to accept what we tell you, don't you?" "That's as close to the truth as we're going to get," Jimmy said. "Besides, we still have to rescue your wife." "My what?" "Kiza," Jen said. "We have to rescue Jeline." "Okay," I said. "That's good. So what happens now?" "This is where it gets interesting," he said. "For who?" I asked. He stepped towards me, pulling off the bracelet he was wearing. He took my hand and slipped it on. He looked at me, watching him, and tried to smile. reassuring me, I guess. But I'm already wearing one, I said, holding my arm up. This is set to my DNA. What's that? I forgot. Jen tried explaining it to me, but I can't remember any of it. You don't have to. The man inside your head is my brother. The DNA we're looking for is his. It's inside of you. They call it a phantom DNA because it doesn't exist in the physical world. None of what's inside of you is actual or physical until you go to sleep. That's why you wake up tired. He takes over your conscious mind when you're sleeping. This second bracelet will draw that energy out, but only his. It's not supposed to interact with you, and it won't. The other bracelet that you're wearing belonged to his father. It will hold you in place and allow you to move time. And what is that supposed to mean? Jen asked. In order for any of this to work, a few things have had to be set in place. One of them has to do with him, he said, looking at me. Wit, I said. My name's Wit. I know, he said. Good, because I've forgotten yours, I lied. Jimmy, the brother. Right. The brother I don't have, I said. Right. Except you do, he said, clasping the bracelet shut and stepping aside. Point it over there, he said, pointing away from where we were standing. What is it supposed to do? Like I said, we're going to move time to the last thing that happened before Ricky got stuck in your head. Wait, what? Jen asked. I thought you said we needed his wife here to make it work. And she will be here right after Wit manipulates time. There was a bright flash of light, and then sparks seemed to float as a small circle cut through the air in front of us. It grew in size and kept growing until we could see all the inside of a room that was full of boxes and heaped up with old wooden frames and furniture. It looked like the ancient furnishings we had when I was a child, only not as battered up and broken. There were two people in the room. They were looking down at two other people who looked dead, as another hole opened in the wall across from us. The man lifted up his arm and pointed at the wall across from us and pulled the woman with him. Stop, Jimmy said, and the scene froze in front of us. That's Ricky, he said to me, and Helen, the woman who's in your wife's head. She shot those two on the floor a moment before we showed up. They don't know we're here. Those two coming in, they don't know we're here either. The thing we all missed, the thing that upset everything, is that one of those two people coming in shot at them as they were leaving. Shot what? I asked. Doesn't matter, does it? All we have to do is step in at the same moment they do. And what does that do? Jen asked. We'd already stepped through ahead of them. Why weren't they there when it happened? But we were supposed to be. Remember, the whole idea was that we were supposed to go through at the same time, all of us. What about me? I asked. This is the point where it gets interesting. This is, I said, interesting? Is that what you're calling it? If you step through with us, you exist in two different times, in the past and in the present, which would be in the present and the future for me and Ricky. You'll be a spectral ghost, the ghost in the machine, I think they call it. The same thing Ricky is right now. By stepping in, you step from your present into your past of however many days ago it was, and you become you again, only in the past. And I already know what's going to happen, so I can prevent it from happening in the first place. Exactly. So none of this will have happened, Jen said. We'll step through into the past, your future and Ricky's, and the Cox, I said. She was the one that mattered because she was the one that was inside Jalene's head, like Ricky was inside mine. All of us. Time will reset. And Jalene, she'll be with you in the camp. And Jarrell, him too. Then what are we waiting for? I said. Wait, Jen called out. I looked at her, still holding my arm up and looking at the burning hole in front of us. I didn't know or understand anything about what was going on, but I could see a shadow in the distance that looked like the camp we'd made 3 nights before. I could see Jeline running in front of me as I was about to trip over my sword. I wanted everything he said to be true. It doesn't have to make sense in order for it to work. What's wrong? You'll have your thing back, I reminded her. You have to trust me, Jimmy said, reaching out his hand for her, stepped into the hole in the air. The hole began to close. What about me? I screamed. There was a blinding light coming directly at me, burning through my chest, and I felt myself falling. Sorry, Whit, but this is where your story ends, Jimmy said, the laser in his hand glowing. Oh my goodness, he shot him. Yes. Well, that was different. And Dave, I'm so glad you stayed. Did it make any sense? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's well, it is what it is. And how long was that? I wonder. Oh, it doesn't tell me how long it's been because I just don't know where to look. I know it's. Oh wait, it'll be over here. 33 minutes, half an hour. That's perfect. And so that's that. I have to fix my phone. The thingy for my phone broke, as you can see. Yeah, so I've got my phone laying. Look at this. We can do this mirror imaging thing. Do 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 do. There we are. Do 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 do. You want to see my room? Do. Oh, you can't. Why can you? I don't know. Okay. Books. Okay. I don't know which one you're looking at. Does it really matter? So, that be that. So, like I said, in the middle of August, I'll be taking this live for breakfast with my brother, which I'm hoping will be a success. I'm hoping that it works. I'm hoping that that the microphone works because I don't know where to plug this one in. Like, I don't know. That'll be weird. I'm hoping everything works. I'll have to try it out, do a test run. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll do the breakfast with my brother, and it'll be a regular feature. My brother is actually into it. I didn't think he would be, but he's actually like willing to give her a shot. And I I don't know. He'll be behaved because that's the way he is. He won't be swearing because he's like that. He swears when it's just me and him, but because he knows that it will be going live. He doesn't know that I only have like 3 or 4 people at a time. He doesn't know that, but whatever. Hopefully it will grow because it will be fun. Funny. It could be the way he treats me like a child. Oh, wait. That's because he's the elder brother. Yes, he's older. I wanted to see what is he? He's 72. No, 71 going in. Oh, 73 going on 74. My bad. Yes. Yeah, 1952. Yeah, he'll be 74 this year. Holy smokes. So yeah, he's 73. I'm 68. He's 73. I'm the baby. And there you are. So moving forward, I will be changing things up a bit here. I will be doing I will be releasing my magnum opus, the Apocryphy. The Apocryphy is a book that I started writing in earnest when I was 28. Before that, it was based upon the word apocryphal, which I wasn't familiar with at the time. I think I was 18 or something or whatever, and I came across the word apocryphal, and so I looked it up, and I went, "Oh wow, cool idea." The Gospels that were not accepted into the Bible, they're not accepted as canon, so they were put aside in a collection of apocryphal works. That's where you get the Gospel of St. Thomas and that kind of stuff, which is basically being accepted as canon, but won't be added to the Bible. Period. Whatever, right? Not that it matters to me. But I based it on that, and then I got into Tacitus and the Annals of Imperial Rome because I was just interested in it. So I started reading that, and then I thought, hey man, there's a cool story here. I could take from the point where Messalina is going to get married, and then weave my story through that, and have my fictitious characters interacting with the circumstances of history. And then I had the Acts of the Apostles, where I could have Saint Luke and Saint Paul, kind of like, and Saint Peter, kind of journeying around, and they all interact together. And I thought, okay, I got a story here. I got a story, kinda. So I have three characters: the poet, Greek poet by the name of Lucipides, who also wrote an anonymous poem, or so he thought anonymous, but he signed it by the name of Corinthianus, because he comes from Corinth in Greece. And then he writes a scathing satirical poem about Claudius and Messalina, and they find him, and he is invited to read for Claudius. And the night that he reads is the night that's all a big setup, and so then he gets arrested. As well, there's a man by the name of Asiaticus, and he owns these wonderful gardens, and the gardens of Lucullus. And Messalina wants those gardens, and so then she has him arrested. So he is cast into prison, and Lucipides is captured or betrayed, whatever you want to call it. He's cast into prison, and those two meet, and Lucipides is a nice guy, and Asiaticus figures like, I can use this boy, because Asiaticus has a daughter who is actually his niece. He adopts her after her father is killed, and so then she has a child, and she's divorced from her husband. His name is Marcus Praetonius Cornelius Gaius, something like that. It's Praetonius that we're going by because his father named him after the Praetorian Guards, where he was a member of during the reign of Caligula. I know this is really confusing. There's a lot, but it's an interesting story, because there is a fortune in money. When Caligula was the emperor, Gaius Caligula, when he was the emperor, there was a group of senators who gave money to the emperor and sat out of the Senate. But they didn't give all of their money, because they just gave a small portion of it, and they took the rest of it and they hid it in a fund, and they placed it in a bank in Jerusalem. And they had special little medallions that were minted for them with a little hydra on it, and they called themselves the Hydra Club. And there were 7 of them. One of these people was the father of Nero, Ahenobarbus, Lucius Ahenobarbus. Actually, that was Nero's name, but whatever. It was his father, who was married to Agrippina. Agrippina, I think that's how you say it. I used to say Agrippina, but I know that's wrong. Agrippina. And her lover at the time of the story is Pallas. Pallas, Pallas, as in, yeah, he was a freedman of the Emperor Claudius. And so then they know that there is money, and they're going after it. And that's where Lucipides comes in, because the only way to get the money is for Asiaticus's adopted daughter, Lavinia, to go and pick it up. And Lucipides is going to escort her, but they have to get her child first. And so then they go through all sorts of shit, and they get the child. And then they all set off on this galley, the Argo. and they travel to Jerusalem. And one of the people that they pick up along the way is Luke, who's a Greek physician, and they go to Jerusalem. And in the Bible, in the Acts of the Apostles, there is a small little piece, like a verse, and in it they name a person named Theudas, Theuddas, Theudas, and he was a false prophet. And he said that he was going to part the waters of the River Jordan and lead people to the other side, like a promised land kind of a thing. And people followed him. People believed him because, people being stupid, like they're still that way, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah. So these people, they follow him, and Lucipides ends up getting mixed up with these people because he's in the desert, kind of like wandering about, lost or whatever it is, something like that. And they get attacked by Praetonius, who he's in at the same time. It's complicated, but we'll get there. So they attack. Of course, he says, "Well, let's wait to see if he can actually do it, like part the waters, right?" But they get attacked, and so then when they get attacked, there's a young child, a boy, like 11, 12 years old, and then there's Lucipides and the boy's mother. And Lucipides, Praetonius realizes or sees him and knows who he is. He knows that this guy is going to get the money and all that stuff, and that's what he's after and all of this shit like that. So he has this guy, and so instead of killing him, he doesn't want to kill him, but he blinds him and then chains him to this boy and then sends them into slavery, where he will be uh, like a tutor or whatever in Spain, Rio Tintos. That's the copper mine in Spain. And he's not put into the mines, which would have killed him, but he's put into this household. And he's actually supposed to be the tutor to the children and all of that stuff like that. So, long story short. And so it's it's an interesting kind of a story because it does get like longer and longer. It is a long one. I mean, like it's long. But hey, I had nothing but time. I wrote it for forever. Like I said, I started it when I was 28, and I got up to 250 or 260 or whatever thousand words, and I stopped writing it because I realized it was too long. And maybe I should make it into 3 books. And it just got so big and just so overwhelming. And at the time, there was no internet. There was nothing, right? I had to go and do all the research in the library, and I had to order books and the interlibrary loans. And it's like that's why it took so long. So then now, now I have Wikipedia, right? I chat GPT. I can look shit up. I can find out stuff. And my daughter one time said to me, well, you can't use Wikipedia because, it's written by just the average people. They're not like normal people. Normal people. Yeah, really. Yeah, they're uneducated is what she said. I said, yeah. Yeah, that's true for the most part. However, if you read ancient history, it's written by history professors. And then I said, and what does it matter if I'm writing fiction that takes place 2,000 years ago? And it's like, and they got something wrong. All I want to know is, how many people were there standing up on the dais or whatever you want to call it when they were doing the sacrifice? Like, how many people were in attendance? That's all I want to know. Like, I don't care if it's right or wrong, but I want to be like, ballpark figure. I don't want to say there was 4 of them when there was 14, right? So that's the whole idea of using the Wikipedia. What was the name? What was the name of the instruments that they used? And, that kind of stuff. Simple things. Uh, you know, It's just a simple research, but I don't have to go to the library and look it up. And I don't have to wait 3 weeks to, you know, get a book. It's like it's there at my fingertips, which is kind of what you want, isn't it? At least I do. Yeah. So I'm going to start releasing that. Actually, I'm going to do that. Let me see if it works. No, it doesn't work. Damn it. I was going to put it on the 22nd of August because that's my daughter's birthday, just so I could, play with her head that way. But I think I'll have to do it on maybe the 17th or the 24th of August. We'll have to see how that works because I'm going to have to open up my files, find the right chapters. And I have four versions. And thank God, I got so many rewrites and stuff. I was dumb. So now I got to organize it all. I got to find the time to organize it, which is like I can do that today, I guess. I know I keep looking down here because I have a phone down here with oh, I got two Coomers on. Doesn't say anything on the live chat over here, right? I got live chat over here. It says I have 6 people, but it doesn't tell me who they are. Oh, wait. Oh, current viewers, total viewers 6. Well, there you go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 5 because I'm 6. I'm the 6th one. Okay, I got it. No problem. Yeah. So that in a nutshell is the apocryphy, and it goes from the year 48 up to 65, which would end with the Paizo conspiracy, which was after the fire of Rome. It's it's gonna have a lot of things, and it might be somewhat controversial even because uh, I'm going to be using the heck is that book called? Oh, I can't see it. I have to turn the other way. The guys that did the the Christ thing, the one that oh God, now I can't even remember that one. The one that was Dan Brown wrote. I know you guys know it. The Da Vinci Code. He used what is it? The Bloody Grail, the Holy Grail, whatever that. You know the one I'm talking about. I know you do. Yeah. Well, I'm going to use the sequel to that one, which has a totally different idea of who started the fire, how the fire started, who actually was held to blame. And that's the part that is interesting because 2,000 years ago, when all of this all happened, and the people that they blamed, they're saying it was not the Christians, but they were worshippers of Isis, which is the Greek goddess. And that put a whole different perspective on things. And I thought, like, oh, that's interesting. I like that one. And maybe I can use that, right? So it's like, yeah, because they change the people that survive are the ones that write history, right? Like the people that win the wars are the ones that write the stories. So you get different. The history that you read is one person's interpretation. And then the next generation or two comes along and they have that person's interpretation of it. And so then they read it and they go, well, I don't know. I'll look into it a little bit. That's why when you get your writings of ancient Rome, they don't have a lot, right? So you get your Tacitus and your Suetonius, and then all of a sudden you go like 200 years later and you get Dio Cassius, and everything that he wrote, well, he based it on all the writings from before that, and he made a lot of shit up too. So, so you don't get true story, which is cool. But I mean, like, if you can imagine what was lost, it's like, okay, so that's why I have my person, my blind guy, my poet, Lucipides, and I now call him Corinthianus. and he is actually writing a gospel. Well, it's called a gospel now, but like as he's writing it, it's not. It's just a journal or whatever. Because apparently the young boy that he was chained to, remember that way back in the beginning part? The young boy that he was chained to is now a Christian, and he has the powers of the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, whichever you want to call him. And he does, he can do miracles. Well, we'll just have to see how that works out because that's the way I had it written at first. So we'll see how that works. Like, I had him, what was it, during the fire, and he created a tunnel through the flames, that kind of a thing, and brought people, rescued them, that kind of stuff. Interesting stuff. Yeah, we'll we'll see. We'll see how it goes because, Lucipides Corinthianus, he gets mixed up in the Piso conspiracy and all that stuff. And, of course, no happy ending to my stuff. So people die because, shit happens. And that's the way it goes. But not all of them. Somebody has to survive, right? Because somebody has to carry the fortune forward. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And so then, in the meantime, I still have my, what do you call it? My book trilogy, my ebook, $7.99, and Gimme Books. Is that what it's called? Gimme Books. Yeah. And you can get that. I'll have my link up later. If you wish to buy it, that would be very, very nice. It goes towards a book fund. I'm having a book fund because what I'm trying to do is publish my stories, my novellas, in a series, of books. Each one is called Trilogy. It's Trilogy Volume 1, Trilogy Volume 2, that kind of a thing. So I don't know whether to put it just Trilogy on the cover, but the cover is no artwork, just one color. That's it. I know the African songbook is going to be black with the lettering on top is all going to be gold embossed gold. And so the first one is going to be a mauve. That's the Bridges of Rome. That's the one that's out now. The second one is going to be Tales of the Vienna Woods, and that's going to be British Racing Green because I used to own a PR, and that's what color it was, and I liked it. And yeah, and then the African Songbook, and then it just goes from there. The whole idea is that I'm going to have, if I keep writing and put out 2 a year, which is what I would have done had I self-published, but I can't seem to be doing that because nobody is, what do you call it, upgrading to a subscribed, to a paid, right? So I don't have any paid subscribers. I got 28. I used to have 40. Now it's dropped down. It's like shit happens, whatever, right? I don't question you if you leave because like that's your choice. Yeah. So the whole idea is I just need to collect like $1,500 and then I can print out the books. And what I want to do is give it to the first 150 people that are paid subscribers. You just send me a self-addressed stamped postcard. I put that in a big scrapbook and glue it to the page. And then I have 150 postcards from all over the world, from wherever you're in. You just send me a picture, a nice one, hopefully, and I will mail you the book. And it's $30 at this moment. It's $30. In August, when I do the apocryphy and I start releasing that, it's going back up to $50, which is what it originally is priced at when I first started. And then I dropped it down to $30 and I left it there for 3 years. And I'm raising it up because nobody's buying it anyway. So who cares, right? So yeah. So when I do breakfast with my brother and then the apocryphy, maybe somebody will say, hey, this is pretty good because I'm going to do the live chat just for paid people only. because it's my way of making it mature content because, we swear like troopers for the most part. I do. Well, I do. And, well, he does too, but like, uh, I have digital copies. It's an ebook. You have to buy it though. It's like it's up there. I mean, I'm just trying. That's going towards the book fund. I'm sorry. That's Naomi from Me Time has asked, why don't you give digital copies for your subscribers and physical copies for for the cost? Yeah. Well, I'm trying. Nobody is buying. It's like my book fund at the moment is $7. I know it's embarrassing. It's $7 because nobody wants to buy my book. It's like trilogies. All the trilogies. I mean, all the novellas that I write are going into these books. So far, I've got approximately, I think, 20 novellas and 5 or 6 novelettes, which is shorter than novellas, right? They're like less than 17,000 words. Yeah, novellas are 17,000 plus, and my novellas average, I would say, well, the last 2 or 3 were 35,000 words or something like that. A couple of them are 60. Yeah. So I uh, I have the ebooks available. I put my I put my ads up all the time. So yeah, I will put up the post. I don't have it on here at this particular moment because I don't have Chat GPT open, and that's where it is. Because I had issues with my computer. Now I turned it off and turned it back on, and now I don't have any issues. Wow! If only I would have known that sooner, huh? Whatever. So yeah, it's like you buy a copy of the book, and then maybe I can save up. I need 1,500, and I'm in Canada, so it's like I mean, yeah. So then I can get it printed up, and I can mail it, and 150. And the reason why I'm giving it 150 is because like, that's a lot. A lot of people to be mailing these things out to. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know what the cost will be, but we're up here in Canada, so yeah, and I have to mail it internationally and all of that stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to cost. So that's why I need 1,500. It cost me like 1,200 to get 100 and what is it, 150 or 200 copies. It'll cost me about $1,200 and about $300 in postage. So you buy the book, you add to the book fund, you subscribe to my page, you upgrade to paid, and then you get to do you have my live chat. This one will go out free. You have your live chat, and then you'll have my Poets Corner, and then you'll have my serial novellas, Jack of Diamonds, what do you call it? Beginner's Guide to Time Travel, The Shield of Locksley. Those are my serial novels and my all my novellas and my archives. I go back 4 years. In my archives, I actually have a movie. And I was thinking, like, if I can get money saved up, I can go back to what is it, the AI thing, and I can actually make a movie. I don't know whether it animated kind of like a different type. When they did the Lord of the Rings before they did the Peter Jackson, they did another one. It was kind of like an animated look. I want to do it something like that. I think to my movie, which is based in the Russian Revolution about a string quartet. An interesting kind of a story, different, but I liked it. Yeah, it was. I wrote it as a challenge. Like doesn't everybody? I have a play too. That one's a very interesting one. But it's like, and I'm writing that one in iambic pentameter. You'll figure, just because I like to do things differently. Everything that I do is different. I don't. I don't go to the beat of the normal drummer, right? I go to the beat of a different drummer. That's why I don't have a lot of subscribers because I don't really advertise myself as much as I should, and I don't really pay a lot of attention. I just try to come up with ideas of things that interest me because I'm 68 years old and I grew up in a time when computers were a fantasy, like all of the stuff. This was what I'm doing right now was without a doubt not available 40 years ago. And 40 years ago, it's like, everything I did, I had to do the long way, the hard way. I mean, like, I didn't even get a computer until I was 40-ish. That's why I'm not very computer literate. I have no idea. And people talk about blogging and all of that stuff. I never did any of that. I didn't even know what it was. It's like, yeah, I'm not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer. Yeah, well, there you go. So, yeah. So when I have issues with my computer, it's like, and I screw things up, it's like, oh God, I used to lose so much stuff. I used to lose so much stuff. It's not, yeah. I remember okay, I'm going on and on. I entered the 3-day novel contest once. That's what they have every Labor Day weekend. They used to do that. It started out here. I don't know where it is anymore. I think they still have it. I just don't know where. So I entered it, and I was going to write. A Macbeth interpretation told through the eyes of um, Lady Macbeth's son, because Lady Macbeth and Macbeth were not made man and wife at first, right? He killed her husband and took her as his wife, and kind of forcefully. So yeah, a good sex life there, huh? Anyway, she had a son. His name was Lullock, and I call him Dull. And so then I wrote it through his eyes, and they said that it was plagiarism. And I was like, how's that even possible? But no. But what happened was I, I was on the afternoon shift and I came home and I went, well, I got to get up early in the morning. So I'll just open up a file and then I'll go to bed. So I opened up a file, but I did not save it. So then the next morning, so I got home, it was like 1 o'clock when I got home. So I got all cleaned up and everything and went to bed. It was like 2 o'clock. And I got up at 7 in the morning and started writing. And I was writing for 4 hours. And then all of a sudden, a crow landed on the transformer outside the house. And instead of sitting on one wire, he sat on two wires. Short circuited everything, blew the hell out of himself, fell to the ground, but knocked out the entire block of power. And I had no power and lost everything that I had been writing because I didn't save it. Yeah, so I've learned. So I had to start all over again. I had to figure out, do I want to start all over again or do I just want to give up? So I started all over again. It was much better when I started, but I only managed to get 60 or 70 pages done, but I still have them. And I keep thinking, well, I might work on that. Because I liked it. It was interesting. It's Macbeth told through the eyes of his stepson. And interesting. It was. It was. Anyways, it's been over an hour now. I've stayed too long, but that's nothing new there. So remember, buy my book and upgrade to paid. Help me, help me to get these books out to you, because if you upgrade, you get, for as long as you are subscribed to me, 2 books a year. That's my hope. One in what do you call it, June, and one in at Christmas. That's my hope. So I will be doing ebooks until I can get print books. Once I get enough sold and I get money, then I'll start printing them out. And the people that are paid subscribers, even if there's only 30 of you, will get the print books for as long as you are subscribed. If you quit your subscription, then you don't get any more books. And the whole idea is that I put out two a year. And since I'm 68, I'm giving myself 20 years. I know, 20 years. 2025 is what I'm looking for. By the time I'm done, I'll have hopefully 25 books, all different colors, no artwork on the front, just different colors. And that's what they will be known for. That it would be colored, kind of like what's his name? Andrew Lang, I think it was, who did the big blue book of fairy tales back in the 1880s or whatever, something like that. He wrote all these books, fairy tales, and he just had colors. The big yellow book, the big green book, the big red book, and the big blue book of fairy tales. So I'm going to do different colors of trilogy, everything called trilogy. And on the inside, we'll have the titles. The books of the Bridges of Rome, the African Songbook, Tales of the Vienna Woods, the wars our fathers fought, things like that. Different things, interesting things. Yeah, yeah. Tales of the Vienna Woods might actually have two volumes. I don't know yet. We'll just have to see how that works out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, I have to go because I'm just babbling and babbling and babbling, and it's like not getting me anywhere. But I do that, don't I? So, oh, look at that. Tips. Learn how to take a photo with iPhone to use on your Mac. Wow. Better late than never, eh? Anyways, I'm going to say ciao for now, arrivederci, and all of that stuff. And I will see you next week at the same bat time, at the same bat channel. So for now, if I could figure out how to end, oh, there it is down there. End it. And I'm saying goodbye. And thanks for coming. I really appreciated it. It's like an 8 of you. It says 9, but it's me too. I don't know why. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Ciao. The whole works. That's where you get the Gospel of St. Thomas and that kind of thing, which is basically being accepted as canon, but won't be added to the Bible. Period. Whatever, right? Not that it matters to me, but I based it on that, and then I got into Tacitus and the Annals of Imperial Rome because I was just interested in it. So I started reading that, and then I thought, hey man, there's a cool story here. I could take to where Messalina is going to get married, and then weave my stories and have my fictitious characters interacting with the circumstances of history. Then I had the Acts of the Apostles, where I could have Saint Luke and Saint Paul, and like have Saint Peter, journeying around, and they all interact together. I thought, okay, I got a story here. I got a story. Kinda. So I have three characters. There's a blood grail, the holy grail, whatever that you know the one I'm talking about. I know you do. Yeah, well, I'm gonna use the sequel to that one, which has a totally different idea of who started the fire, how the fire started, who actually was held to the part that is interesting. Because 2,000 years ago, when all of this all happened, the people that they blamed, they're saying was not Christian, but they were worshippers of Isis, which is Greek goddess. And that put a whole different perspective on things. And he is actually writing a gospel, well, it's called a gospel now, and he's reading it. It's not, it's just a journal or whatever. Because apparently the young boy that he was chained to, remember that way back, right? The young boy that he was chained to is now a Christian, and he has the power of the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, whatever you want to call him, and he does the miracles. We'll just have to see how that works out because that's the way I had it written at first. So we'll see how that works. Like, I had him live during the fire and he created a tunnel through the flames, that kind of a thing. Brought people, rescued them, that kind. Fuck off. Um, do 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 do. Is this still on? Did I forget to end this? And now I still have people? Ooh. And I scratched my inside nose because it was itchy? Oh, that could be fucked up. I gotta end this.